Welcome to the storm, guys. This is Jackson Burning, and Easter weekend, the first weekend of the playoffs, just happened, and we're going to dive right into it today. All right, guys. So Chicago just won the second game in a row. Sorry. They just won their second game in a row versus Boston. Now Boston's down 2-0. No, I think a lot of people expected Chicago to push them, but not even close to winning the series. But now it's totally flip-flopped. Boston kind of looks like the Atlanta team in 2015 that went 60-22. Because that Atlanta team got swept in the Eastern Conference Finals versus LeBron, and that team just looks similar. They just look similar to me because they both don't stand a chance against Cleveland. The difference is that Boston has to face a tougher opponent in the first round. But these first seeds in the East, these two outlier years, it's just ridiculous because they can't push Cleveland at all. So this is the category that they're going to go down in, probably. Now they're down 2-0. The Grizzlies and the Spurs, when the Spurs got beat in the first round. The Warriors and the Mavs. The Mavs lost in the first round. And the Sixers and the Bulls, when the Bulls lost in the first round. The Bulls one kind of counts because Derrick Rose got hurt, yada, yada, yada. But this is where I'm going into now. At the trade deadline, Boston had a chance to trade for something better because they were missing something. It is obvious that Boston is missing something right now anyway. They're missing a scoring option. They're missing a surge of power. And they have all these draft picks. They could have gave up the pick in the draft. Draft picks do not equal talent. They never have. You know how hard it is to get a second round good player in the league? It's ridiculously hard, and I don't know why teams hang on to their second round picks. I'd just start trading them if you could get something for them. This is a talent-based driven league. And the window of opportunity just shuts very fast on some teams. Unless you're dominant, in that case you've been dominant for a while. But I don't see any teams relying on draft picks Cleveland doesn't rely on a draft pick. Golden State lately hasn't either. Before, years ago, but not anymore, especially since they're good now. Just trade up to you have no chance against Cleveland. You might not even get out of the first round, so you should have tried to trade for Paul George or Jimmy Butler. Good going, Boston. You just blew your season right there. And plus, draft picks take time to develop. You're getting a guy that's 19, that's my age, out of college, and the best young team in the NBA right now is Minnesota, and they can't get in the playoffs yet. So I don't see Boston's logic on how they're going to do it. Their team isn't that young. Isaiah's 28, 29, and Horford's 30. By that time that your draft pick develops, they're all going to be out of their primes. It's going to be, you can't do it. It's just, so I don't know why they didn't trade for someone better. And it just doesn't make sense to my head because good going, Boston. You ruin your chances at competing for the Eastern Conference title because now there's no way you're going to beat Cleveland and LeBron. So that's my take on that. Dwayne Wade also has more playoff minutes than everybody on that whole Celtics team. Just pointing that out. And just functional too. They have no shooters. They have no big men in the post. They're three guards who can't shoot. So Boston's just not that good, and they look a lot like that Atlanta team to me a couple years ago that wasn't very good anyway, that got swept by Cleveland. That's all I got on that. Like I said, I don't understand Boston at the trade deadline. They could have got something to compete, And even though Boston knows that they can't compete with Cleveland, it'd be an insult to Cleveland to even put them in the same stratosphere. So, yeah, that's my take on that one, guys. Let's see how the rest of the series goes. The playoffs, there's a long playoff series. There always has been, always will. So there's still up to 5 games left, but they're already down 2-zip, and now they got to go on the road. Tough matchup for Boston. Should have traded your draft picks, Boston. Follow me on Twitter on burning_Jackson to get all my takes on everything all the time when the playoffs are going. And have a great night, guys. Stay tuned.